Yesterday in these parts, it was all about football. Today, they turn their attention to the men's basketball team, and they are fired up here at the Moody Center, including the Longhorns' #1 fan, losing 3 in as many days out in Maui. We are underway. They are standing, and it is the Longhorns with the first possession of the game, and there is Trey Johnson with the ball. And Jay, didn't he get a lot of attention at the Connecticut shoot-around today? They talked endlessly about what they want to do to try to defend Trey Johnson.
Well, he's being guarded to start by Hassan Diarra, and that's what Connecticut does extraordinarily well, is protect the rim and block shots. They're the nation's best shot-blocking team.
Shot clock didn't reset. Tremont Mark gets it off. It was Samson Johnson with the block. And now it's solo ball with a steal.
Did the lights go out there for a second?
I think they did.
Am I having a stroke?
Baseline Liam McNeely, but State during the week. Johnson misses the 3. Caravan the rebound.
Caravan was wide open on a great cut to the basket, but Tremont Mark made a fantastic recovery to block that shot. And that got Texas out in transition.
Solo ball, the lefty who is shooting it for them to get better over the course of the season.
Well, the first thing they have to do better defensively is guard the ball. You know, if you can't contain and stay in front of the ball, that puts your defense in rotation. And that's when the big guys pick up some fouls. And a great pass from Alex Caravan to Samson Johnson. When Johnson sets a screen, he's an excellent roller to the basket. If you don't pick him up, he's going to get a lot of easy things, and Caravan can deliver it.
You hear about 5 tool players in baseball. Well, Alex Caravan, that kind of a guy in basketball. He can score, he can rebound, he can pass, he can block shots, he can come up with steals. He can do just about everything that a player can do.
5-1, but they were the #1 ranked offense a year ago, and they don't have the kind of defensive stoppers that they had last year. When you had Tristan Newton, you could put blown by too much.
Boy, good pressure by Jordan Pope as Hassan Diarra gets it over for the Huskies.
And I think you're going to see a lot of that from Texas, trying to pick him up 94 feet with different looks, so you don't have to guard him as long in the front court.
Diarra gets by his man and is fouled on his way.
But with his leverage, the fact he can stick with them.
5th consecutive start. Aiden Mahaney now coming off the bench for the Huskies. In the ACC. Pope, the Oregon State transfer, misses the 3. And there's Terrace Reed Jr., the Michigan transfer. Again, he and Samson Johnson splitting the minutes of the 5 spot for UConn. There's the fake for
conceptualize that and to adjust to it. So smart with his cuts and changing speeds and his skill level. He's a difficult guy to guard.
And it's a nice start here for UConn, an early 7-point lead. Caden Shedrick has gone to the bench, and Zarek Onyema is now in for Texas, number 21 in white. This is Johnson, averaging almost 21 a game, lays it in softly with the left hand.
Very important there for him to have caught that ball.
I think both those guys know if they pick up another, they're going to go to the bench, too.
Yeah, that's true. But good screen.
And Reed with a slam, 11-4 UConn.
Well, you're so worried about the cutter. He said a little bit of Ray Allen with the way he can shoot the ball. And he's an unbelievably hard worker. Just lives, eats, breathes basketball.
And that's one of the things we asked Rodney Terry, the head coach, about. Like, they got a lot of older guys on this team, guys who have been either here or at other programs for a number of years.
Respect from older guys that haven't done that in their careers.
Yeah. I don't think Trey came against Baylor. He had been struggling. His minutes had been dwindling, but he had a very good game against Baylor in Connecticut's last.
They called him a phoenix rising from the ashes, and now that's his new nickname.
Yeah.
Dan Hurley actually called him Phoenix today. He says, "Come on, Phoenix, do this." I was like, wait a minute, that's his nickname now?
Johnson trying to back down Diarra. Got the shot off over him and hits a tough turnaround. Texas, Arthur Kaluma just picked up his 2nd. He has gone to the bench. The Longhorns are smaller right now. They are without some size. Jason Kent, a 6'8" grad student, a transfer from Indiana State. Johnson, pull-up 3. Around and out, and McNeely down with a rebound.
And to your point on size, they've gotten the ball to Terrace Reed Jr. on out-of-bounds plays. There he is again. Nobody there to stop him.
And an and-one opportunity. The foul on Caden Shedrick came into the game, shooting 74% from the field, and has only. Samson Johnson off to Caravan. Open man. And the three a little bit short there for Ross, but the follow goes for Caravan, and it is all UConn right now here in Austin.
Texas.
Virginia Cavalier, his second year here with the Longhorns, off to Johnson.
Texas is going to have to make harder cuts.
Larry on the drive, can't get the shot off. Good cut, though, by Weaver, and he has earned.
So if there's a loose ball or a long rebound, don't be surprised if Kendall Weaver.
Everybody else. And two, he said he is the youngest of four. And everybody is an athlete. You don't get anything easy. You got to work hard for everything that you get, and you can see that in the way that he plays the game. Caravan for three.
With UConn, it is not their initial action that gets you. It's the second cutter. It's the third or fourth pass. This is a hard team to guard. They run just beautiful offense.
And they have a commanding 16-point lead. Weaver to the rim, and he slams it in.
That's why he's in there. Bring a little extra verve, extra energy, or as Bill Rafter used to say, a little woo-woo.
Remember, we were here last year. Baylor was in here. Remember the job he did on Jacoby Walter? And now a steal and a jam for Trump.
A little more want to on the defensive end for Texas.
Foul on Mahaney, 16 foul on UConn. Tremont Mark just checked back in and knocks down the baseline jumper. He was Arkansas's leading scorer a season ago at 16 a game, and it's a 6-0 run right now for the Horns.
Tremont Mark can be a difference maker for Texas. This is just his 5th game of this young season. But he is a talented player that lights it up in a number of different areas.
But Solo Ball can do that about as well as anybody around right now. Second block of the game. McNeely spins and lost it. Got it back, lost it again, but it bounces to his teammate in Caravan, who hits another three. Pope well guarded by Diarra, now into Shedrick. He checks the shot clock. Driving on Johnson, the reverse, up and good.
Well, Samson Johnson did a good job of getting Caden Shedrick off. His strength is his quickness, so break contact, use your quickness.
So you'll remember we spoke of the...
And there's nothing to say that UConn won't go small for a while, put Caravan at the 5.
McNeely gets a clean look and a little bit too strong on the 3. And there's Caravan called for a foul. Last year at Kansas State, he has had some big rebounding games, especially the last one.
Team that he's been the leading rebounder. Creighton, Kansas State, and now Texas.
By the way, Reese just texted me. He said he made a poor choice. You should call somebody else.
Should I?
Yeah.
I'm lucky he takes my calls. You don't.
28-16. UConn has had a healthy lead for almost all of this one. McNeely, a beautiful foul. Tipped away, stolen by Singari.
Really good defensive job by Diarra, forcing Johnson to his left.
Ball with a great shot fake. The step in, the scoop, and the layup.
Well, he just lifted his eyebrows up, and the defender.
Caden Shedrick is lying on the court behind the play. He reached for his left shoulder. And remember, he had surgeries on both shoulders prior to last year. Another 3 for Solo Ball. And is it harder for the coaches of the other team to plan for playing UConn because of that?
Yeah. I mean, you can tell the team what to do, but when you see it coming at you full speed, it is really difficult to deal with.
And a UConn foul. It'll be on the
area and run offense.
Off Kansas, and Kansas lost again today. They were beaten by
this season. That's a huge blow for Greg McDermott and the Blue Jays.
Diarra trying to turn the corner on Pope, kicks it back out. McNeely hits the 3. Boy, we got 2 extremely talented freshmen in this game. Trey Johnson.
Shoot 3. You have to make him put it on the deck. He's got to be made to dribble it.
Weaver spins into traffic, finds Shedrick, who will go to the line.
And Texas has yet to knock down a 3, and they keep missing free throws. Where he was on the all-defensive team in the Missouri Valley Conference and the leading assist guy for the Sycamores. And I think He's such a good distributor. Maybe they can run a little better offense with him trying to distribute the ball and get them organized.
He and Pope basically splitting the minutes. Another great feed. Diarra finds Caravan, and it has been a passing and cutting clinic by Connecticut here in the first half. Kaluma, the step back, and it goes.
Kaluma on the keeper. Texas has to start getting more active with their hands. They've been, look how their hands are down. They're not getting hands into passing lanes. Just too easy to make passes for this UConn team.
Caravan chips it to himself and then is fouled and will go to the line. Suffering a mild concussion in the Huskies' last game out in
the point guard position. He directs traffic. He gets people where they're supposed to be.
Pete, which nobody has done since John Wooden's UCLA teams won 7 in a row from 1967 through 1973.
Versatility. I mean, he gives you scoring. He's an excellent rebounder. They made half their free throws or less.
That's 6 for 13 right now. And by Kaluma. Mark. Kaluma for 3, and it'll go as Kaluma continues to put up numbers, and believe it or not,
what the routine was for today's game.
He believes in good spots and bad spots on the court, and he acts accordingly.
Maybe a little barbecue sauce or something.
5 on the shot clock. Kaluma puts it on the floor, drives, lays it up a little bit short, and now UConn can hold for the last shot. Caravan saw it. He got Ross's attention and said, hey, no need to rush. 3 seconds. Diarra short on the 3 to bring a first half to a close that otherwise was really, really good for Connecticut. This is for Rodney Terry. His shoot around again was talk on defense. You got to talk against these teams, and it's never good when you're a coach and you're having to re-emphasize one of the points of emphasis at halftime.
I think part of the problem was their switches were lazy. They're switching everything.
Boy, tough shot. That's just good offense beating good defense right there as Johnson scores over Diarra.
Right, but it's a tough 2.
Yep.
And that's what UConn wants to do, is make Trey Johnson take tough 2s, not open 3s, nothing in transition. And throughout this game, they've done that very, very well.
Johnson now 4 for 9, 8 points. Kaluma leads Texas with 10. Samson Johnson didn't play much in the back. Four to shoot. Mark hits the 3. And a little spurt here for Texas at the outset of the second half of the offensive end.
Well, Tremont Marble middle, but a challenge 3. He's not a great three-point shooter. He can make 3s.
Caravan back to Johnson, up and in, and a chance for 3 as a block is called.
Boy, a great job by Samson John.
Back to Badama Sanogo before that, but he is the starter now, getting a lot of minutes.
He's an above-the-rim finisher, and he does finish plays pretty well, but one thing he can't do is getting in wrestling matches down in the low post. That's where he's going to pick up fouls.
Caravan, step back, 3 is pure. Alex Caravan with his third 3 of the game.
Well, I'm definitely not calling you when I'm in trouble.
Here's Johnson, and again, look at the defense by Diarra. Diarra is doing his job, and Johnson makes another tough shot. Like maybe he caught a forearm or something up around the eye. They play on. Dan Hurley is saying that Pope was too close. He was in the cylinder there, and Diarra didn't have a choice. But there was no whistle on the play, and another great pass. This time it's McNeely finding Johnson.
That was really smart of McNeely, taking on the closeout, driving it, and then just the terrific cut getting to the front of the rim by Samson Johnson.
Third assist of the game for McNeely, and now a slam at the other end for Shedrick.
Just a miscommunication by
Caravan.
Boy, how about Caravan stopping that drive in transition?
Diarra up top. Johnson the slam.
Little open side action. That means there's nobody in the corner, so you can't get a tag defender trying to disrupt that.
Samson Johnson into double figures with 10, and Jay, that's assist number 7 for Hassan Diarra.
Diarra has been outstanding. He's run the team and then he's defended very well. That's a heck of a shot.
Yeah.
But that's the problem when you have a smaller defender on Trey Johnson. He's 6'6", maybe 6'7", long-armed. He can just rise up over the top of you.
He is from Garland, Texas, the greater Dallas area, just north of downtown Dallas, about a 3-hour drive from here, and he has heated up a lot. He's got 13, but he's going to need a lot of help because McNeely and Caravan and Diarra and Ball and Johnson, everybody wearing visiting blue is having a good game today.
Well, and you need stops right now. Texas isn't going to get back in this game by just making shots. They're going to have to get stops.
Kaluma for 3. His second 3 of the game. Can they get a stop? Johnson the handoff to Diarra. Got it back and slams again.
That's a set play. Johnson starts in the corner. They bring that action. And he's basically coming up from the corner, and that leaves him wide open for the slip to the basket.
And now 8 assists for Diarra. Pope, a corner 3. So Texas keeps hitting. Caravan, good patience, but he missed the layup. Johnson on the drive and draws the foul. Directors for the V Foundation, so I know it's near and dear to your heart. And again, Tuesday night.
Donate to the V Foundation, and we would ask that everybody.
Lost twice this week. Number 2 is Auburn. They lost at Duke, and certainly there's no shame in losing to a top 10 team on the road, but it seems likely, I believe, that Rick Barnes and the Volunteers will be the #1 team in the nation as of tomorrow.
I think they will be, and with all that Tennessee lost from last year, chief among those losses was Dalton Connect to the Los Angeles Lakers. But they have Chaz Lanier, who transferred in from North Florida, and Lanier is an outstanding player.
That was Jalen's for the Longhorns. And we told you about it. And knocked them both down.
Is that the reverse jinx?
That is the
reverse jinx.
Yes, cut into this deficit. At one point, UConn led it by 22. It's still 15. Ball is still loose. Johnson's got it. And it's down to 12.
He is a big coach. It's something that's worked upon.
Yeah.
You basically have to have your arms behind your elbows behind your ears when you go up and play defense with your chest.
Caravan into Johnson. It won't go, but the follow will for Diarra.
Got 2 on the ball, and Johnson again.
Tipped a couple of times and down to Kaluma. Boy, that would have been spectacular had Stewart been able to finish that. Weaver right into the traffic. And is it Reed or is it Caravan? It is Caravan.
And the swipe at it.
And 1 of 2 for Weaver.
Other from the McDonald's All-America game, AAU play. It's not the first time they've come across each other.
Played high school just about 15 miles apart. Johnson, step back 3, another one. How good is this kid?
Wow. Comparison come from. And that's obviously lofty praise, just to say, hey, he reminds me a bit of Ray Allen. So this young man can really shoot the ball.
He's a 45% three-point shooter on the season. Terrace Reed Jr. just too big and strong.
Yeah, turns away from the double team. And you're right, that strength is what made that play. There's the wide pin for Johnson.
Diarra back on Johnson. The floater this time. He is the furthest.
There's so many teams it is that way.
Good show there by Kaluma, but there are 2 Longhorns out on the defender on the perimeter. Somebody's open, and it's the wrong guy to leave open as Solo Ball drills another one.
Well, there wasn't much switch.
Wants to clear out, wants some space to drive. Kaluma, yes. Boy, I'll tell you. Well, it's probably just 1 season for Johnson, obviously, here in Austin with the kind of pro prospects that he's got. But it looks like it's going to be a great one. But Terrace Reed Jr., another big bucket at the other end. Mention a Michigan transfer. And again, we'll see Michigan Tuesday night at the Garden in New York.
Crossover.
Larry wide open. Misses the three, tipped around, and another possession for Texas. Johnson, great find. What a feed to Kaluma.
What a spectacular pass from Trey Johnson.
Ball has had a terrific game for UConn. He's made 4 threes. Diarra. And it will go. Again, the 2-man game between Diarra and whoever the 5-man is. In this case, it's Reed.
And really set up by.
Ball to Diarra with 10 on the shot clock. Diarra on the drive this time. And the follow is good for Karaban.
When the action went from left to right, you had seen Alex Karaban has been much higher on the UConn end of the floor. The points in the paint is 38-18 UConn.
Johnson over Diarra and a foul call. And Johnson will go
face up and foul.
Maui notwithstanding, and it happened, but do you still see a lot of upside and a chance for this team to be a national championship contender by the end of the season?
I do. It's a different team than last year's version, and certainly the year, but you can't expect these guys to have it all figured out when you have so many new pieces. I mean, you're plugging in guys that didn't play.
Klingon, Castle, Newton, Spencer, 4 great players.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. But these are seconds that are ticking away right now, down to 1:20. Johnson off a screen, kicks it to Kaluma. Good look. Got it. And it's 73-65. 20.
Well, right now the metrics have him at 12. Who knows if it stays there, but that's a ridiculous number.
They got a foul here, and there it is by Larry. But again, 6-7 seconds came off the clock. That is team foul number. You're a simple creature at heart.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's foul number 7. So Karaban going to the line.
Points against Texas last year in the game they played in Madison Square Garden.
Missed the front end.
Just has a complete game.
Can they get a quick score? Larry still going.
The answer to quick score is no.
Nope. And that's an over and back, and that may signal the end of it. Had they been
because Kaluma's got size and length on him.
Into Diarra, who will head to the line.
Boy, Diarra's had such a good game. I mean, you've pointed out the assist, maybe even 4th man. Let's not sell him short.
I hope when he watches the tape, he hears the bit in the first half.
Why was that a thing? Was it just John Havlicek back in the day?
Yeah, that could be. You know, Jay, it's not who starts the game, it's who finishes.
Well, then they should have finishing.
The finishing man of the. Another foul. And it's all academic right now. Karaban's going to.
And to play at this level was very, very encouraging, I think, for UConn.
Couple of free throws for Karaban, and it's an 11-point game, just 22 seconds to go. The lay-in won't go there for Larry, and that should just about do it. Texas's next game is Thursday here at home against New Mexico State. They will drop to 7-2. This is going to snap a 7-game winning streak for Rod. And Texas going to Stores next year, right? This is part of a series. Yep. So,
which is great for the game.
Yep. More, please. This is a 3-year-old building, and it's the first time a non-conference team has come into the Moody Center and won after the Longhorns previously had been 21-0.